Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Handland and Film at 11. And thank you for being here with me on this very fine and fabulous Adelaide day where the sky is blue and the sun is shining. And it really is a glorious, glorious day. I so want to thank all of you for your compassion and your grace and your love and support yesterday. You really are beautiful. So thank you so much for that. Hey, Livy, so good to have you online. Yeah, it's just, it's funny, emotion it's one of those things that can live just beneath the surface. And sometimes when you talk about things for the first time, out loud, it can kind of, catch you by surprise, which is kind of what happened. But I want you all to know that my dad is in an awesome place. He really is in a gorgeous place. I did go and visit him again yesterday afternoon and had one of those really beautiful moments where when I was leaving, one of the staff saw me leaving and she went, "Oh," she said, "You're Malcolm's daughter." And I went, "Yes, I am." And she went, "We were just talking about him." And I went, "Oh, really?" And I said, "I hope in a good way." And she said, "Oh, yes, we love him. He reminds me of my own father." And the other girl said, "Yes, he's like my grandfather." And they just spoke so glowingly of him and just how much they'd already fallen in love with him and whatever else. So that's always nice to hear, right? Really lovely to hear. So he's in a good place. It is there. It's a respite thing at the moment, but we're kind of crossing our fingers and hoping for a miracle in maybe it gets to be a permanent home for him as he goes through this chapter of his life. But yeah, dementia. It's an Alzheimer's. I know many of you have had parents and loved ones with similar scenarios. So anyway, it's all good on some level. But excuse me as I have a little cough. What I would like to talk with you about today is, I spoke yesterday about the awesome mindset versus the bedtime story. Are we living awesomely, taking, ownership and being accountable and so on for who we are and how we are? Beyond that, I go on about faith being finding answers in the heart. And once you've found that answer, then follow it, right? Well, that's so true, but there is this other voice that lives inside of us that, we so often talk about the fearful side of our world. And, it's true. There is this ongoing battle between fear and faith that goes on inside our minds or within our bodies somewhere, somehow. We can, in our hopes and our dreams, we can hold our aspirations in such a beautiful, pure space and place. And we can, sometimes we're fortunate enough that we can even visualize with such clarity, real internal strength, and we've got gusto and all this kind of deal. But it's when it comes time to following through with activity that this little fearful voice comes up. And you know what? It is a little voice in real terms, but it doesn't show up little. It shows up with some conviction and gusto, and it can be super convincing, right? Which is why I run with the acronym of false evidence appearing real when I talk about fear, right? So it's got more front than, John Martin's or David Jones or some, depending on where you are in the world. If you're not from Oz, you've got no idea what John Martin's is. And you know what? I'm showing my age even when I say John Martin's, because John Martin's haven't even been in existence for, I don't know, a couple of decades. Whoops. So anyway, but it's about having, all this bravado, and it makes it seem that it's bigger than it really is. And when we put a spotlight on that fearful stuff, we suddenly start to realize that it's just a scared, timid little something or other that's just trying to get our attention and really talk us out of our sense of possibility. So that, in lots of ways, is my message to you today. Every time you go to live something that brings you joy, that makes you feel lighter, makes you feel brighter, makes you realize that you have connection and capacity and not just a voice and a passion for difference, but you've got a life that actually shows up for others in this world, right? Every time that happens for you, that little voice, this is what I know to be true, just by the way, get my Oprah on, all right? Instead of my Oprah cry, which is what I had yesterday, I'll just get my what I know for sure conversation on. Okay, so what I know for sure in relation to the whole fear versus faith is that whenever faith has the most to gain, right? So whether that is your mission, so you feel better about yourself, so you can show up and do more of what you're here to do, or whether your good deed is going to play forward to somebody else in the big, wide, wonderful world, right? Whatever it is that's going on that brings your goodness and shares your goodness, the more good that there is to be done, that is to be gained, the more aggressive, the more powerful, the more bravado fear will show up in your world. It will show up with that imposter voice that says, who do you think you are? Huh? What on earth do you think you're playing at? And make you feel, try to talk you out of your sense of possibility. Or it'll show up with that knot in your stomach, that anxious anxiety knot that just almost makes you want to vomit. I know that's really empowering to say that, but it's true. It really shows up aggressively and makes you almost that paralysis kind of feeling. You don't even think you can take another step, let alone another breath, right? But I promise you, if you stop and you take a breath, an intentional breath, right, then you start to dismiss that whole piece around, fear's power over you. Hey, Adele, good to see you. Oh, computer behaving badly. What? Hey, Jace, good to see you as well. Awesome. Fantastic. So, yeah, please know that, all right? Fear is always going to be up and in your face whenever goodness has the most to gain, whenever faith has the most to gain. So please know that. The next time you have some kind of spectacular awakening, right? The next time something amazing is born in your magnificent mind, and you think, oh, yeah, but what if? That's fear. That's fear trying to keep you small. Please take the step. Just step out in faith, because the world needs you all, right? The world definitely needs you all. Oh, look at you all chatting to each other. That's so awesome. That makes my heart sing so much. So very, very, very much. Hey, and I just need to let you know that when I was talking yesterday about the whole bedtime story and blaming the computers and so on, and I realized later in the piece, like literally as I hit end live, I noticed that my headset was still plugged into my computer. And I thought, oh no, you're not even going to be able to have heard that. But thankfully, sort of, the little microphone was sticking out, so which just hangs above my computer, just here where you can see my arm sort of reaching there, so it's like right there. So that's why you were able to hear me, because at least the microphone's there. So I apologise for sounding like I was 100 miles away and in a tunnel. But yes, so today maybe you can even see my little microphone sitting there. Just a tad more organised and have my head in the game. Genius move. Happens to the best of us, right? Yay. All right. So, beautiful people, thank you so much for showing up today. I will be back here again, film at 11 tomorrow, live in Handland, and look forward to keeping the chat going. But in the meantime, step up. Honestly, kick fear in the face, because, or something. That's a bit aggressive, isn't it? Okay, don't do that. I'm not a violent person. I'm a lover, not a fighter. So, yeah, keep being faithful, people. Love you all. Until tomorrow. Bye.